everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. I am never this late with these dies of the month and stamps of the month, but we're going to offer Mary some grace because I have had multiple competing priorities in my life. So I wanted to share this though because Spellbinders knocked it out of the park, and I am going to show you both the stamp of the month and the small die of the month for June in various ways, because there's nothing better than getting a die set that you can use multiple ways. And so that's what I tried to do with this this set. So the first thing I'm going to do is I guess my footage got erased when I always show you the die cuts and the dies next to each other. So sorry about that, but that's why I put the picture up in the front. But what I'm going to do is have some fun ink blending on these, I guess they're rolling hills. So the die set is amazing. I think it's the first real scene building die set I've seen from Spellbinders. Maybe not the first, but I think it's the most comprehensive one I've seen. And so you get these rolling hills, you get foliage, two pieces of foliage, one long, one shorter. You have a sun ray and then the circle, which could presumably be the sun. And so you can really have a lot of fun. Now I die cut all mine in white cardstock, and then I'm going back in with some distressed oxides to add some color. Right here I'm going to use these three colors to mix up a sunset. I actually changed the abandoned coral for mustard seed because I really wanted to get that bright yellow right at the bottom of the picture. I'm going to start my ink blending here. Now I am using a very large makeup brush I got a few years ago from Amazon, and I chose this one because whenever I do an ink blending technique that covers a lot of the paper, the cardstock, I like to use my biggest round makeup brush. I feel like I get super good coverage, and this one in particular is just so smooth. Now the paper I'm using is Accent Opaque. I was going to use some Nina that I had in my stash, but the Accent Opaque is truly the whitest white cardstock that I have. There is definitely a difference compared to Recollections from Michaels and from Nina Solar White. And so I wanted to just opt for the whitest of the white, because at first I thought I was going to have like a border of the white, but anyway, I tried to keep with that through all my cards because sometimes they do border them on my bases, which are Accent Opaque. All information probably none of you asked for. However, if you don't have Accent Opaque, I highly recommend it. I've been recommending that for a while now. It's very affordable. I'm going to use my Barely Art glue here, and I'm just going to start to put this picture together. Now, I love these sand dunes. I think they are super fun. And so I'm just trying to figure out where do I want to put my sun here, and I'm getting placement down, and then I'm just going to put down my sun. Now, I should have colored it prior to my actually gluing it down. I wasn't thinking, but I'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so here I have my stamp. I'm going to choose this little stamp right here up in the corner, and it says, "You are my sunshine." So I'm going to place that there, and I do actually color. This is a Dollar Tree marker. This is a metallic gold marker. I colored it in. Then I'm adding my favorite glitter technique to add glitter. I'm going to take a little makeup brush, put the glitter nail polish from the Dollar Tree right on there, and then pounce it onto my sun. So it's going to give this really sparkly, fun, clear glitter accent, and it doesn't flake off at all. I also decided to go up around the sun as well with the glitter, so you'll see that in a second as well. And we do come back to that to finish a little bit of an accent, adding some birds from the stamp set, which just makes it super fun. So here you can see I'm kind of going around the card with that nail polish and just getting a little bit of those sparkles out in the air. I thought that was kind of fun. And then I added the birds right here just to add a little bit more to the card. So that's the first one. I really, really enjoyed playing with this and how this came out. It was so fun. I loved the different ink blending, and you get a little bit of that dimension on the sand dunes, so just super fun. So this next card here, I was doing a stencil technique, I think, so I just had background in my stash. Like, I have a bunch of those. And I'm really trying to use them up because I don't like them just sitting there. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a winter Christmas card out of this. So I brought it out and I added some blue Distress Oxide. By the way, I know you all hear that in the background, and it's my husband drilling something downstairs. And you know, I there's just no other time. It's Sunday. There's no other time to sit here and hang out with you all. And I okay, he took a pause. I had to go downstairs and see what he was doing. I'll get to that in a second. Right here, I am bubble cutting a sentiment, which means to cut around the words. Now, the sentiment I'm using here, sorry, I'm out of breath. I just came up 3 flights of stairs. Two flights. Right here, I am going to use this sentiment, which is from another set. So it's not from this set, but I thought you all would forgive me, given that you probably have multiple stamp sets as well out there. So I'm going to place this, what I'm calling the moon, not the sun. And you saw how I just dipped that a little bit into that Distress Oxide, and it gave the perfect look. And then I bubble cut my sentiment here, so I cut it around, looks like it's die cut. And the last thing I'm going to do to because I popped up those snow hills, I'm going to actually use stickles on the seam of all of them because they didn't line up absolutely perfect. And so I thought that that was a good way to kind of hide that. So there is my winter card. Okay, what's my husband doing? He's down there building a shelf. So it's really hard to go down and when, you know, your loved ones are being super productive and doing things for the house to be like, can you please put that on hold? So I think we're just going to have to suck it up together. Right here, I'm going to move into my next card, and I'm taking another background that I want to use, cutting it down to 4 inches, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And that's going to allow me to have a nice border behind it. I am going to take one of the circle sentiments from the stamp set, and I'm going to place that right in the center. And this one says, life is a circle. The end of one journey is the beginning of the other. Here's a sneak peek at what it really looks like behind the scenes. I kept that in for you all so you would see. It is a hot mess outside the frame of this video every time without fail. So yeah, I love how I keep it nice and clean though on the screen because it's just like, it's a super facade. Anyway, let's move on to the next card. I'm going to play off of that stamp sentiment, and I'm going to use the foliage that comes. I'm going to make my own wreath. And so how I'm doing that is I got an idea first by laying them down. Then I'm going to take my Barely Art glue and just put dots of glue everywhere and just sort of manipulate the die cuts in a circle manner, trying to get as good a circle as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect because when you start adding all the extra foliage, you're going to be able to kind of build that up. So here's my last piece that I'm placing down. Love my tweezers. It's a staple in the craft room. I use them all the time. My fingers don't get in the way. And there is our little circle. Now, I had to add a bunch of these amazingly coordinating sequins and little diamonds. Now, this is from Catherine Puller, and this set is called Romance, and it's just gorgeous. And so that is going to finish off this card. I think those sequins match perfectly with the background that I did. I wish I had the colors of the background that I used, but this was done a very long time ago, so I do apologize for that. Okay, let's move into the last card with this set. I'm going to make, again, off of a background that I had. Now, this background, I'm going to show you, I took a blade and I cut through it because I could not make that sun look organic. I wanted it to be behind the surf. And so I highly recommend using that tip when you really just want to add that extra element, or you wish you could have masked it or something like that. So that's how I decided to do that. I'm only going to use 3 sun rays. The surf on this is pearlescent embossing paste, and I did it freehand, which means I don't have a stencil. I just placed it on there and smushed it around, and it always makes my surf look so realistic. So I highly recommend that. That's just super fun. But right here, I am going to put down all of my rays and my sun. I just used mustard seed to get that yellow on there. one color, just gave it a little bit of a darker edge on the bottom. And then I'm going to take my card panel and just slice off all that extra of my rays. So what I'm left with is I'm going to have my background here, and then I'm going to choose some birds and then a sentiment. So keeping it very simple. For the birds, for this stamp set, you get 3 different bird stamps. So they're 3 different sizes. And the great thing about that is it looks like, when you put them together, it looks like dimensional. Some are close, some are further away. So they did a really good job with that. And then lastly, I'm just going to put my sentiment here right at the bottom, and we're going to just keep it simple, and it says sending you sunshine. I am going to pop up this panel with some scrapbook.com adhesive, foam adhesive. Now this is totally unnecessary, but I wanted to show you, since I had them all, the 3 different sizes that you can get. Well, multiple, you can get more than this. There's a thin, thin, thin. It's not called that if you're on the website. I think it's a 1/8 of an inch, or yeah. But these are 3 of the widths that you can get for the foam tape. Love it. It's my favorite foam tape. And so I'm going to place that down onto my card panel, again, excuse me, my card base. And again, like I said, I'm using Accent Opaque 100 pound. I think if you're going to buy any, they sell it in 80, 100, and 120. If you're going to buy any, I highly recommend the 100. You can layer with it. You can use it as a base. It's very good all the way around. So that will do it for this card right here. It's lots of fun, very simple. I know I didn't get a chance to show you how I did that background in a few of the others, but I really am trying to use up what I have. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video. I hope that this inspires you if you get the kit of the month, or the small die of the month, or the stamp, that you are ready to go when yours comes in the mail and you get to creating, because that's what it's all about. Below, I will have listed everything I used in the video, as well as my Linktree link for us to connect on other social media platforms, and my Amazon storefront, which is a semi-new thing for me, where I've placed all of my favorites, a lot of craft supplies that are I found alternatives for. So check that out, because I'm huge into money savings. So that is a one-stop shop for you. Thanks again. I will see you in the comments down below and in the next video. Bye-bye.